So as Donald J. Trump traveled the United States, just about every conceivable pocket, every small town, every city, every state, looking for votes from we the people, hundreds of millions of Americans, he's looking for them to put him back in office as the 47th president of the United States. Well, he certainly earned the votes, and he had a landslide victory over Kamala Harris. You know all about it. 45 becomes 47. Now, amongst the promises he was selling the American public was a vow to get men out of women's sports. And about 2 weeks after being sworn in late January, Trump signed an executive order on February 5th in Washington, D.C. Young ladies and women from all walks of sports, athletes from different sports, coaches, sportscasters, so on and so forth, made their way to D.C. to celebrate the executive order. And I, for one, it's still hard to imagine that we even got to this point with the fight that women had to have a fair and equal level playing field, for them to have the resources they needed like men to reach the peaks and heights of their respective sports and get the most out of their talents to become champions. You think about those pioneers, the Martina Navratilovas, all she did on and off the court as a tennis megastar. Same can be said for Nancy Lieberman-Klein, respectively, a basketball standout. They fought the good fight, and we needed Donald J. Trump to come back to see the standards that they fought for upheld. However, not everyone is complying. Take the state of Maine. It is a great state. I've been there before. A little cold in the winter, but it's a beautiful state, and there's so much to see and do. However, they have a rad left governor, Janet Mills. And last week, this story came out, and it was posted by a state representative in Maine, Laurel Libby. She had the cojones to post this on Facebook, and good for her. I'm going to read you the post as you see it. Update. We've learned that just 1 year ago, John was competing in boys pole vault. That's when he had a 5th place finish. So all this transpired in the last year with the full blessing of the Maine Principals Association. 2 years ago, John tied for 5th place in boys pole vault. Tonight, quote, Katie, unquote, won 1st place in the girls' Maine State Class B Championship. And there's a picture of John for Greeley High School in Maine. And again, Representative Libby. She took a lot of heat for posting the picture and basically making a news story out of it. But you know what? Good for her. Public knowledge anyway. And if Maine's going to constitute that, well, if you can't stand the heat, then get out of the kitchen. If you're going to allow the boys to play girls' sports, then it's going to have to be reported on. Anyway, look at this quote here from Representative Libby. Says it all. It's common sense. Biological males should have no place in girls' sports. It's time to restore girls' sports and protect the funding for our schools. And funding, the operative word there. About $280 million, nearly $300 million on the line, because the state of Maine is not complying with that executive order that Trump signed into place a couple weeks back. And today in Washington, D.C., governors from all over the U.S. were there meeting with President Trump. And President Trump, not afraid to confront anyone and ask them to their face if they're going to comply with the executive order that he set forth. And that's what he did with the Maine governor, Janet Mills. Take a look and listen for yourself at this fascinating back and forth between POTUS 47 and the governor of Maine.
2 weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue because you'll never win another race. The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Down here,
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Fascinating. The disrespect shown by the governor to the President of the United States. Trump will get the last laugh. And what's even more interesting and just amazing, and it's more like the word I need there, is the fact that this small pocket of the rad left, they don't realize their policies don't work. This is not what America wants to see. The New York Times did a poll a few weeks ago. 80% of the American public said they do not want biological males playing female sports. Now, if Governor Mills and the rad left can start understanding and getting this, then maybe they'll start understanding why Trump won and why we, the people, voted for him to be back in the White House.